Okay, so far we learned very simple dictionaries. Okay, usually you build something much more complicated than this, much more complex, and there's a complex sets of data. I mentioned earlier that you can actually combine. So now that you know like lists and tuples and dictionaries and sets, you can combine all of those together and build really complex data structures in dictionaries. Okay.
Yeah, for the sauce is really.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
Maybe the order was a little mixed up.
Yeah. So dictionary, as you can see, is really useful because we have key value pair. Okay, list you cannot do that much. You still can, but you always reference the index position only, right? So I could say, so that could be a list of, 1, 2, and 3, but my fourth could be another list, and then maybe A, and then B, and then inside that list I have another list, and this could be like now true and false, and then true and so on. So you have a list inside a list inside a list. It's like a 3D structure, right? But you access them by using only the index. Index of 0, index 1, index 2, index 3 is the list. Inside the list, I have the 0, index 1, and then the second index here, and then this is like 0, 1 again. So you kind of have to trace your way down the tree to get to the correct value, like in false, for example. False will be like A of 0, 1 to A of 3, and then of 2 of 1. So three indices, right? A sub 3, A sub 2, A sub 1 gives me false. Okay? So you do only index values. Now dictionary, it's much nicer because you have the ability to set unique keys. That's something that you can't understand. So in this example, say for example, if you want to create like a real dictionary, all the words that start with letter A, you can categorize those inside the letter A here, like I did here. So I could just say all the numbers here, I could remove those. All the words start with A inside here, not just one character, but it could be a list of words inside A. So here I have A for apple, I have here ant, and then art, something like that, right? And then B will be the same thing. I can have another list, all the list of the words that start with B inside this new list. Then bingo. Okay, you can put a new line. It's easier to see. So that's how you use the dictionary for. And then you can go even, further if you want. So here maybe like BI instead of big, just BI. Inside here, I want all the words with BI. Maybe like starts with BI, something like big, and then bingo. Right, those two will be part of B instead. So you see that I have B for beta, but then inside the beta I have BI, and then BI has big and bingo and so on. So you can sort this out like that, and it gets really complicated this way. I think I missed one somewhere here. That's for that. Yeah, plus one more over here. Let's see. Oh yeah, this cannot be key. Yeah, this can't be key. It has to be. If it is, I have to use a key. Let's see here, maybe. Let's see. Like that. Because now it's a dictionary inside a dictionary. It's a dictionary inside a key, inside a list. Yeah, so you can say B of 0, 1, and then of BI will give you that, and then a big. So it gets really complicated, okay? When you build this kind of structure, it's really hard to see this way. So it's always best to just break it down to their own lines, so you know exactly what's going on inside that list. So I know that, okay, that is a list of, it's a key that has a list of data. This is a actual element only. This element is an object or dictionary. So, and then it gets more complicated. Okay, but if you have it built correctly, built nicely, then you get a really powerful list of data. And then the next thing is, okay, how do you go in there and then find all this data, right? That's another challenge, but of course, you would use the thing that you learn all these functions and so on. Now, remember that if you want to convert a so about the set again. So the set, you can convert like strings and tuples into a set or a list and vice versa. So that's really convenient in Python. Like my list up here, right? This is a list, the A here. I could easily just say I want to convert the whole thing into a set. So you can say S equals to set of A. And I think that should give me a whole set of A here. I'm not going to run it, but I'm going to go and see what happens. I didn't like it. Yeah, it's unhashable because I have too many things in here. It just to be a simple set. I want to show you that using that set function, you can convert like we did before. Remember we did like if I type in the word string is equal to apple, and we learned before that you can turn that to a list by just saying list of string. We change that into a single character in that list, right? You do the same thing with set as well. So if I do a set of the string, then that would turn to a string of sets, and the set uses the curly braces, and it doesn't work because it doesn't have two elements, right? You need a key, and it doesn't do that automatically for you, so you can't do that with a dictionary. Okay, so I want to show you here about the modules. We learned, I think, briefly in the beginning of the semester. I showed you a little bit how you use modules. And this is useful because now that you learn how to read files, you know how to build all these functions, you use list dictionaries and so on. So eventually, when you build an application, you want to separate all these out into their own separate files, and then import them back into your file that you use it only, so your file doesn't get too big and too cluttered. So let's just say that I'm going to go and create a dictionary. I'll use dictionary for now, and I'm going to create a dictionary of some data. We'll call it I don't know, just numbers. So we'll put here. I put here even numbers. It's going to be a list of even numbers: 2, 4, 6, 10. I have another one here for the odd numbers. It's a list of odd numbers. So 3, 5, 7, 11. Just for simple ones, okay? So even number, odd numbers. You have another for prime numbers, whatever it is. Like always wins lottery numbers, right? And then you can have another one for a set if you want, and so on. But I'm not going to do that. I'm going to do a function. So you have a function called, say get evens, get even numbers. Oops, not Java, sorry. And we're going to get even numbers from the numbers here. So basically return this whole set here, this list to whatever it's been called. So return the numbers of evens, right? That'll return the list of evens. and return as a list, which is something maybe we want. We have another one here. Let's say return get odds and return the odd numbers. Okay, so these two functions are here, and these are all related to dictionary, right? So get even numbers, get odd numbers, and you can do so much more with it. I'm just going to put two examples here. And then we could also do another one, since we learned how to do files already, right? So let's go ahead and create another file, program called, just call it files. So a new one, new file called files.py. And then we're going to do some file manipulations in here, right? We're going to say, we're going to create a file, and what I want to do is I want to read, get all the even numbers in here, and we'll print one at a time to the file here using the files functions. So you will use a function in here called, what do we call it? Maybe you write, call it write even. Okay, I'm going to pass to this even here maybe we'll write. How should we write this? Is it a single character, a single data maybe? Let's call it D for now. Okay, single data. And then we want to open this file first, right? So you can say in file, in file, we're going to write to it, so open, and we want to append it to this file. I don't want to delete everything there. Just open the file call. It's nothing there yet. You can just call it, I don't know, just my file.txt, and we're going to append to it. Okay, so A for appending, right? And then we're going to write that file one letter at a time. So in this example, I'll just do a write in file write, and then I'm going to write D to that. And I also want to make sure I put the comma /+/m, the line feed. So write a single character per line. Once we're done, you can do it close. I do here, like, normally you would write another function call, file open, you open the file first, and the file close, and so on for each. So when you're writing it, you don't have to open, close, but just do that for now. And so let's just say we got that one there. Yeah, just a simple file, and then you can write more functions if you want. What should have another? Maybe I have another one here. Let's say this is going to be a read files. Read file. And let's pass the file to this file, call it file. And then I am going to open this file first. So you know what? Actually, this should call out file, right? Yeah, I should call out file. Makes more sense. Out writing to the file. This will be the in file. So in file equals open the file. We pass that as a text string, and we're going to open it for reading only. And then we're going to read everything and just write it out. So in file dot read, and read everything to the console, and then we're going to close it. This would be a function up here. Okay, function. Okay, so I'm going to pass the file to read it, and then it's going to open the file for reading, I didn't do any tests here. You probably do a try exception. We'll assume it's there, and then we'll read it, we print it out, and then we'll actually no, we have to print it out. We didn't print anything here. I'll put this into a lines. No, just put like print here. Print everything. Okay, print everything because the read reads everything, and then we just basically close it. We're done. Okay. So now is my main program. I'm going to create another one. This is the main program. This is called main program dot py. So I'm going to import those files that I created earlier into this main program. So the logic is still going to be, if you put all together, you see just a long string of a long file, big file, has all those functions and dictionary all together in one place. And they're kind of awkward because they have their own separate functionality. That you want to separate them out into their own files, so it's easier to manage. So the first thing I want to get is I want to read the data from the dictionary, also from the file. So you can import that in here. So you can use the function import. If you want to import everything from those files, you just use the word import followed by the name of the file. So files without the .py. Okay, and that will import everything there. And then I'll also import the dictionary. And now I have access to both of those files, and I'll access those contents like in the dictionary. If you want to get the numbers or the functions here, I have to use the dot extension, like dictionary dot. If you put a dot here, you should see those data are available there for you to use. The numbers, it tells you it says a field, and then the F there is it's a function. Okay, so if you want to get the numbers, just put a numbers here, and that will give you that dictionary. If you were to print this out, you will print that numbers from the dictionary file, or we call that one a module. Okay, and so if you run this now, clear my console over here, clear all my variables, and click play, run, and you see that it prints my dictionary here. But I access that from a different file. And so my code now looks cleaner because it's a separate file. Okay. The file, the same thing. I have access to the file, so now file has two functions called read and write. So I want to write everything to write all the even numbers only to this file. Okay, so we can say, okay, I want to get all the even numbers from this dictionary called numbers. And in the dictionary, we have two functions called get evens, right? So I'm going to say something like, maybe even is equal to dictionary dot get evens. I call the function. It loads the function, it goes in there, grab all the even numbers as a list, returns that to my even. Now even has a list of those even numbers. It'll be 2, 4, 6, 8, and 10. And then now I can go and iterate the list of even numbers and then write that to the file. Okay, so I can say now for each number and even, I'm going to go into the files dot write even number, and my function says I have to pass one argument. What it is? Oh, it's this num. So it writes all the numbers to the file. Once the loop is done, because in the file we have it so that it opens it, writes it, appends to the end of that. It does it automatically up to the end of that until we're done. And then finally here we can print it out. We can, not here, but in the main program, say print, not print, I'm going to say files dot read file, and I have to know what the file is, and we call it just my file txt. So I'm going to read what I have already written to the file, and that should print all the even numbers 2, 4, 6, and 10 in their own line and print it down here. Okay. So let's clear my screen over here, and we'll run it. And it has an error. Okay, I probably have an error of the D over here. Right. Oh, convert. Because I pass it as a number. I pass it as a number, and in my file, when I write it, this is a number, it's a string. So conversion, right? Conversion, I have to go string and then that. So type error. Every time you have a type error, that means you have conflicting data types. They don't match. So this D needs to be a string first, and then I write it to the because I'm trying to use both together. If I write separately, then that shouldn't be a problem. If I two separate write statements, then you don't have to convert. It will do it automatically. But since I'm concatenating them, I have to convert them to both strings. Okay, let's do one more time. There's my file. I think it looks good here, and then click run again, and there you go. So this is the print statement. I print that out from line 5, and then I get the even numbers to the even list. I iterate to the list. I get every number from that list. I don't care how many there are. Read all of them. I write each number to my file, and then because I write each number, I convert to a string, and then plus the line feed. That's why we have a character return here, here, and here. Okay? And then I close it. Make sure you close it. If you don't close it, it's not going to save this in there. And then the read file, just open the file again, prints it out, reads everything there, and print it out, and you close that. Okay, so if I run this one more time as is, I'm going to see a double list into my file, because you can see I'm appending what I already have. Right? So I keep everything there. I'm not deleting everything because of the A mode inside the write file. This is append file. So I'm appending to what I already have, so my file will not be lost. So in my text file, you can see it looks exactly like that. All right. So here, notice I have to write the word dictionary that many times if I'm going to use it. So if it's too long, you can use an alias for this. You say as just D. You can use the D here. So now you can reference the D instead of dictionary, because now it's redundant. So put D here, and it's much shorter this time. So you pass it through the D alias, and you still just before. File is the same thing. Just say file as F, and then just go here F write, F read, and it makes it a little bit shorter. Okay, it has to be unique. I cannot put like file as D here. Now we have a conflict because it doesn't know which one it is, right? So just make sure it's unique. So this I'm importing everything inside both of these files. Everything meaning variables, global variables, and functions. Only those things in the global variables, in the global space, you will see. Inside the function, you won't see those because those are just local data. So a function is in the global space as well as this variable called numbers. That's why I'm able to see numbers and get evens and get odds when I do the dot D here, right?
So that doesn't pop up when we...
It doesn't? But did it run though?
Yeah, it ran. It just didn't pop in the function that I was typing.
If it doesn't, you can press the control spacebar. Like put a D, and then the dot, if it doesn't show up, you just to a control spacebar, it should toggle on and off. If it still doesn't do it, you need a new computer. Just kidding. Yeah, I'm not sure why. Maybe just acting.
Mine never really has that. I'll have to troubleshoot.
No. Yeah, that's kind of helpful because you can see what's coming, what's available. Okay. Okay, so the import function imports everything to this space here. If you don't want to do that, if you want to be very specific to a certain function, a certain data only, and just because you want to and you can do it in a different way. So let's just say I want to import the functions separately instead of, or maybe I just want to write, so notice in my dictionary, I'm not even getting the odds. I don't need that. I don't need this either. I just want to get the evens function because this one will take care of everything, right? So you can see that you can prevent from other, I guess, people or code from seeing what's inside your function, your file here. Then you can say something like, instead of dictionary here, I want to comment this out, and you can do it this way. You use the word from first, lowercase, from the dictionary. Okay, import only the things that I need. Okay, so I only import get even function. If you wanted the other ones, you put a comma, get odds, or numbers as well, right? You can do all that by using the comma, and then just import the only things that you need. But I'm going to only need the evens, so I'm just putting get evens here. Now, when you do this way, you can see that this is the actual function inside that dictionary. So now, when I do this, so you can see here, this D here doesn't exist anymore. So line 6 won't work anymore because there's no D there. So I'm going to comment that out. And then line 8 here, because I'm importing the actual function, I'm not going to access it through the D or dictionary anymore. I'm going to get the function automatically directly here as if it's part of this file. You just call it. Okay? So you just call the function right away without using the dot notation. The file is the same thing. If you want to import each function directly, so you don't use the dot notation, then you use the from module import the one that I want. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, you can also put an alias to this as well. Instead of get evens, I'm going to say get evens. I'm going to use that as GE, and then now I just call it GE. So it's almost like you're rewriting the function again as an alias function. And if it's all correct, if I run this again, it should still work just like before. Now I appended 3 times to the list. Okay, so think about this when you write your code. If it gets really long, try to put things on their own files and import back into your main program to use it. So last time we learned how to write a main function where you start your program. So now you can say, okay, this is the main program. I'll call it main.py. And then inside that main.py has to have a main function still, but all the other code will be in their own separate files. So just import them into this file. So you build this file structure. So eventually in here you're going to have your own folders. You're not going to have all bunch of Python files here either. You're going to separate these into your own folders, and you will import that from that folder. And then in Python, you see that later on, I'm not sure if this course will learn or not, but in a folder, you can use a folder and you make that folder as a as a package. Okay, it's a package, and then you will import from that package all the modules inside there and all the functions inside the modules, right? So you see how that tree goes. And so you can have nested files inside all these different subfolders. And then later on, when we learn classes and something like that. So inside a folder, I'm just going to show you really quick here. So this could be like all my special functions folder. And then inside this special functions folder, I have maybe a file called f functions. .py. All my utility function goes in here, and I want to make this function folder a package. So what you do is you go in here, you create another file called __ init __.py, and that function inside this file called _init is what makes this function a package. Okay, so when Python comes and reads it, it says, oh, that has a function _init has a function called that, and that's a package. Then you put all your files inside a package, and then you can share the package with other developers. Okay, and for them to use it, you just include it inside their code so that you can easily access those packages. Because now once you import a package, everything comes in. Right? All those modules comes in, you can access those. Which is what I'm going to show you here as well. When you do something like this in the console here, remember we did like A is a set, or a dictionary, doesn't matter. A set 1, 2, and 3. Right? So here's the set of A. Now, if you do this, and for every variable that you want to use, if you type in dir for directory, and you put A inside it, okay, it will list a lot of functions in there as well that that you can use for this type of data. This is a set. You see a lot of these functions here with the __, right? You see one of those, and you see one of those here. It says init. Okay. So that means inside this, and this is a list of all these different stuff here. So this function, wherever it's being called from, in the global space somewhere, is calling all these special functions. These are special functions inside a class, a program file, and so you can use these as well. We'll do some of these. I think it's next week. We'll deal with classes next week, right? We'll get into we'll get into classes and objects right away soon. But not all of them, but you see that you're going to be building classes, objects, and things like that. So these are special functions built into the classes, and these are functions that you can use here. So remember, we did the add function, we did the clear. We've got to do copy. You can copy as well. The difference here, the discard, right? Intersections, is set, subset, pop, remove. All these are functions that are part of the set. Dictionary would be very similar. For D equal to 1.1, here is the dictionary. DRD, you can see the same thing. It looks very similar as well. It has fewer than the set. You can see it has the values. You get the values. You get all the keys. You can get all the items, and so on. You can get a particular item based on the key. So this is a function that comes with these objects. If you know what they are, you just do that, and it will give you the whole list to tell you.
That is no useful.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think it's pretty cool. S, let's see. If I try S, and then so all these are strings. You have all the strings replaced, and it's a lot of strings. So string manipulation in your exam tomorrow, right? So for sure. Okay, so that is what I wanted to show you about these modules, because we're going to be creating classes and objects pretty soon, and so we'll be doing some of this stuff. So we're going to importing classes from a different file, and we're creating objects into this program here, and then we'll deal with objects and classes and methods and constructors and so forth. Fun stuff, really fun stuff. And then I think we'll eventually get into Mongo database as well.